Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your November and December forecast. This is going to help you navigate the rest of this year and map out the ups, the downs, and the in-betweens. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see you. Just like this says, you can use it for Sun, Rising Moon, and Venus. We have Apollo in the background holding some space. Why don't we get started and get into your channeled messages? The first image and the first message is don't hit the snooze button. I watched in my mind's eye as someone did just that. They slept in a little bit, and then they were playing catch up the rest of the day, always one or two steps behind. This is figurative, so really what we're talking about is be proactive. If there's something that needs your attention, be the person that steps in and fixes it. Don't wait for someone to come to you. This is going to establish you as someone who's on top of their game and who doesn't require sort of hand-holding or micromanagement. It sets you up for success. Also, it was just less stressful in the long run. But sometimes we're not perfect and we make a mistake. So if you happen to be at the point where you did procrastinate or hit the snooze button and you're in that frenetic energy of trying to catch up, I'm going to give you another piece of advice that I saw, which is slow down. It seems like the opposite of what you should be doing, but actually what's going to happen is you'll ground yourself. You'll take a deep breath and you'll say, all right, what's the best path now? I've already done this. What should I do? So a little bit of damage control and then focusing on the next step and making sure that that one is impactful. Because I was watching someone kind of like, it's figuratively speaking here, but someone get in a car, drive really fast, and then sort of like have a fender bender. So sometimes we create an additional impact or issue because we're rushing. And you don't want that to happen. Slow down so it's just one thing that you're cleaning up, not two. The third thing was just to take accountability, because literally what my guides are kind of whispering is don't play the blame game. And they're showing me someone pointing a finger. So if you did sleep in, if you did miss something, if you weren't proactive, just say, I'm so sorry. I meant to get to it. I'm addressing it now. And if you have any other concern, come straight to me. I'm on top of it. But take accountability. And if there was some sort of fallout, say, I'm here to help. I'm sorry that it happened. What can I do? All right, without any further delay, why don't we begin and see what wants to come through again for this 2-month period. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that there is a circle of white light around your body. Within this circle, know that you are protected and connected to Source. Let's go ahead and welcome in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, and set the intention for the highest guidance to come forth. All right, let's get started. All right, let's begin here with your catalyst. This may be a period of time where you're starting to feel like you're disconnecting from certain groups of people. You might be drawn to new experiences. Star people, of course, representing that connection to spirit, source, higher energies, higher consciousness. The card came through reversed, and there could be a little bit of internal friction or just reluctancy to go down that path, because the path to spiritual awakening is one where you can't ignore things. And the reason that there's sometimes separation between old friendships or old habits is you realize it just isn't resonating anymore. So I'd like to normalize that. If you're feeling drawn to do new things, if old relationships are falling out, it's creating new space for something better to come through. And although this isn't completely analogous to the star card, when I do see star people, I think of chosen family, people in the same frequency as you, and it has some of the same elements of embracing the star. So whether we're looking at the star card or specifically this interpretation, which has star people, it's saying now is the time to be your most authentic version of yourself. And if other people aren't ready for that, it's okay. There will be a new chosen group of friends and connections that are. This is a time to really embrace that. And for some of you, maybe you're going to move more into a teaching or mentorship role, and you're going to share some of that universal knowledge. All right, let's get started here. First of all, if you are new to the way that this is organized, let me break it down. We have November here, December here. This is karma. This is destiny. We have takeaways on the left and right for each month. and then a bridge, a block, and we already talked about the catalyst. I'll set this up in chapters, and you can come back and rewatch anything that you need to. Let's begin first with the energy of karma. You received a really auspicious card here in the form of the Three of Pentacles. In the traditional illustration, which I have ready, you'll notice that there's a lot of work being done. The fact that it's finished and there's just a door tells me that on a karmic lesson level, it feels like you've already accomplished something. What actually came through was the School of Hard Knocks, because if you look at this, it can represent school, training, college, or just learning lessons. There's also this sort of understanding that Three of Pentacles represents mastery. So it feels to me like you have learned the lesson. The hardest thing, though, is either the application of the lesson or simply deciding, I'm going to open the door and move forward or move on. So when you go to school, there's a lot of theory. This is how things should work. You learn all of the hard and fast rules with like math and science and grammar. But when you get out into the real world, there's times and places where you have to learn to bend, to break, or to be more flexible with those rules. And it feels like karmically that's really what's coming through for some of you, is be flexible. And for those of you that have gone through the School of Hard Knocks, which is just sort of like a phrase that means you've learned lessons the hard way, now as we look at this single path in front of you, you're going to open a door that is a little less complicated. You're going to apply your knowledge and your skills and choose more wisely and with more discernment. But there is a door that's ready to open. Are you ready? That's the question. Sometimes we feel like we need just a little bit more, and this can represent going back to school or to get more advice or to get that final sort of like cherry on the top. And I'm fine if that's what you want to do. But know this also, it feels like you're ready. That may be more of a confidence building endeavor than anything. It's still well worth it. But some of you are already prepared to step through that door. And it's just a matter of saying, let's go for it. Okay? Speaking of that, let's take a look at your first of the 2 months here. We're going to look at November. And in November, we're going to start off with the past. What's coming through to affect, to elevate, to maybe even complicate things this month. And we have the Four of Swords. So right off the bat, there's an encouragement to get ample rest. Four of Swords comes through sometimes after a period of burnout, or simply when we're done with something and we need to rest and recalibrate before moving forward. So don't rush into or out of something without taking a break. If you're thinking, for instance, of quitting a job, maybe take a vacation first and see how you feel when you're away from the job. Do you miss it? Do you feel the same? Have the feelings of wanting to leave amplified? If the latter, then you know it's time. If you've been working nonstop, this is a reminder that you're not a machine, that the body requires rest so that it can do its own maintenance. This can also represent the gentle release of something in your life. Four of Swords often comes through after a breakup, after a loss, can literally be after someone has passed, or just after a door is closed. Remember, when one door closes, another opens, and I see that opening awaits you. This is just letting go. And letting go takes time, and it's a different amount for each person. So figure out what the necessary grieving period is for you. I love, if you look at this, how she's reaching for that fourth sword beneath. So this represents the three swords above is like the Three of Swords, pain, disappointment, and just sadness. And then once you let that go, opportunity, ideas, action awaits. So you're exactly where you need to be right now. Don't rush. Take a deep breath at the beginning of the month if you are watching this at the beginning of November, because as we're looking at what awaits you, it's quite good. The very next card here, which represents the present energy in the month of November, is the Ten of Wands. This is completion. They accurately illustrated this where you see someone feeling that sense of, I got to take this to the finish line, but sometimes they're shouldering too much of a burden. So lean on the support of others. Ask for help if you need to. Delegate. Take a step back. I love Wands because it's one of the few suits in tarot where you can subtract and it's still amazing. 8 of Wands, things are in motion. 6 of Wands, success. 4 of Wands, partnership. 2 of Wands, dreaming and envisioning things. Ace of Wands, taking something and, kind of breathing life into it. So you can always take a step back, delegate. Doing less is sometimes more, or working smarter, not harder. From a health perspective, make sure that you're managing your stress well. This can be emotional burden, so we see them hunching their shoulders. It's like, oh, I've got to shoulder the burden of worrying about you, taking care of this, worrying about myself. Breathe. Remember what your first card was. Rest. And then allow yourself to get to the finish line. There can also be back issues with both 10 of Wands and 10 of Swords. It's less intense with the 10 of Wands. It could just be, again, how much you're working and how much you're pushing yourself. Know your limits. That's the important thing. One thing that I will say that is very, very auspicious with this is anything you set your mind to, you should be able to complete it, particularly with what we're seeing here in this trifecta, the karma of the Three of Pentacles, the gentle easing into this sort of completion here. So Three of Pentacles, Four of Swords, 10 of Wands, it feels like you're ready to start a great new chapter. There is something that could challenge you, though. Thankfully, this card is reversed. In the energy of the future, we have the Devil reversed, and this represents something that isn't what it seems to be. So there could be like an offer or opportunity where on the surface it looks good, but when you dig into the details, you realize the devil's in the details. There's something there that could limit you. If you look really closely, you can see that there's this rope that's around their arms. Oftentimes you'll see chains or shackles or ropes, things that tie you in place. So when you're looking at specifically a contract, it could be signing a lease, it could be a mortgage, it could be a marriage contract, anything that might tether, tie, or anchor you unnecessarily. It's time to hit the pause button and move in a different direction. Say no or revise it and get that sort of element out so that you are allowed to be free and that you can be on equal status as the other person. Trust when someone reveals their true colors, even if it's by accident. What do I mean by this? Have you ever noticed sometimes where someone slips in a conversation and lets out their true motive? They may try to backtrack, but you've already seen through the curtain and you know what's behind it. Trust if that reveal happens or if someone slips. Sometimes people are just outright clear with it and they'll say that they're not good enough for you, that you deserve better. They're not trying to talk you into being with them. They may actually be trying to save you time from, getting involved in a relationship where they can't be the kind of person that you want or need. Same thing with a job. If you know, like maybe it's on the interview process and they just say, we think you're overqualified. We don't think there's growth here for you. It's not a matter of trying to negotiate to get that job unless you really, really need it. But they're kind of showing you from the beginning that this wouldn't be good. So any type of engagement where someone reveals that they don't think you should do it, you should probably listen to that because they're trying to save you time. This is also about people that don't come through. In the case of a job, promises aren't kept. They promise you a promotion or more money but never come through. In a relationship, someone never really pulls their end of the bargain. And the final thing here is just an encouragement from Spirit for you to be more honest. So if you don't want to do something, just don't, and say it from the beginning, whether it's an RSVP or getting into a relationship. If you don't feel it, don't do it. All of this will help you get into the antithesis of the devil, which is authenticity, truth, unconditional love, and honesty. The devil hates all of that. So elevate those feelings, and I think you're going to be fine. But there could be something that you just need to pay attention to. There's a blinking red light that is trying to help you avoid a certain path in front of you. And this is where kind of like knowing yourself and knowing that practice versus theory is going to be different. So maybe the old way was doing this, but you feel to yourself, I've got to do something different. Let's look at the takeaway for this month because it's quite auspicious. So the takeaway for November is the Hierophant in reverse. So this is a card of building, and it's a spiritual card, and it's a connected card to source. But when it's reversed, sometimes it's about dismantling the old structures. It's often about thinking outside of the box. And it could also be calling to your attention a lack of organization or structure. I'm totally behind flexibility, so be flexible, but have somewhat of a plan. So the fact that this came after the devil shows me that there may be a lack of planning, vision, or whatever the next step will be. Once you have that in place, you'll know when and where to bend the rules, but you need to at least have the rough plan in place, okay? There could also be a gatekeeper, and the Hierophant devil could be connected. This is someone who absolutely thinks in the terms of black and white and no shades of gray. It's their way or the highway. You have to decide if you're willing to acquiesce. If it involves giving too much, say no. Find a different way, find a different path. If it's just a small sort of concession, it might be all right. But the fact that the devil is there tells me that there may be a better match for you. Don't compromise your vision, don't compromise your morals, and don't say yes to something that feels wrong, even if you're feeling pressured. This is the old guard. In many ways, you're creating something new and different. So the challenge and the opportunity, again, as we look at the month of November, is to know when and where to break the rules. And I think that that's something that you'll have to kind of, on a daily basis, tune into. But overall, I quite like what I see. You're going to finish what you've started, and there may be someone here that also has a hard time letting go, because this is mastery, this is success, this is you letting go, but this is them holding on. So maybe all we're looking at for some of you is just someone who won't let you go. And in that situation, it's about elevating things, unconditional love. You'll know when it's time to step through and try something different. Let's talk about what's connecting the 2 months together. We have a wonderful energy in the form of strength. This, for many of you, is a reverse because there may be a lack of confidence. Know this, you have exactly what it takes to accomplish what we saw here, right? There could just be some physical exhaustion. That is one of the things that strength can represent. There may also be someone in your life that is trying to control you, and we mentioned that. I think all three of these, the Hierophant, the devil, and the strength card, could be connected. This can be a parent, it can be a boss, it can be a friend. They're seeing your trajectory, which overall in November was one of success. And there could be a fear like, what will I do without you? So never let that hold you back. You can encourage them the same sort of thing, like, you're strong, you'll handle this, you'll be fine. I learned from you, you can make this work. There's a peaceful resolution that's possible. This is an elevated version of the strength card where there's no struggle. In this version, this is what we want to kind of let go of. Sometimes this version of the card shows that people may be trying to get you to say something or do something. That's why I think, by the way, that the devil energy is connected to this. It can be as simple as someone saying, isn't that right? Don't you agree? When you don't agree and they know it's not right. So you could just call them on it and say, that's your truth, that's your opinion. I don't happen to subscribe to that, but feel free to move forward on whatever feels right for you. But don't let them say that, put in your mouth that that's right or that's what you said. Someone could be misquoting you or, again, pushing you into something. So this is where you're finding your own strength and you're pushing right back. Divine feminine energy that has the ability to meet an adversary or a block with success and aplomb. And she's just going to say, thanks, but no thanks. And that isn't what I said, and this isn't what we agreed to. In fact, this is what I need. This is what we agreed to. This is the next step. So you're finding your voice and you're asserting yourself when you need to. If there's a battle, I want strength, or I want to see justice, or I want to see like King or Queen of Swords, someone that's going to meet that moment and really see it through. And you can do it. But some of you are tired. And it could be like sick and tired, literally, of someone or something. So to get the strength back, you need to rest. And that's why the Four of Swords came through. Okay? All right. So I'm basically encouraging you in this moment to trust in your own ability and don't deplete yourself by spinning your wheels trying to deal with this energy, because I do think all three of these are connected. If someone won't let you go, then you might have to let them go and just move on. All right, let's look at what might be blocking you. Emotions, in short. So for the block between the 2 months, we have the Nine of Cups in reverse. I love the way they illustrated this. She's been balancing a lot. She's been dealing with a lot emotionally. One more cup and her back may break, or she may not be able to balance at all. So this is a moment in time to not make a major decision when you're feeling overwhelmed. And that's why this card was reversed. So When you're feeling like it's the best day ever or it's the worst day ever, don't make any major decisions. When you're in the middle and you can take or leave something, that's when you're thinking more clearly, or at least take a step back and sleep on something. If you feel the same way tomorrow, it's more likely that this is something that's consistent and it's sustainable, okay? This is a wish fulfillment card. You can and you will be able to accomplish something. Someone in your life could be gaslighting you. Again, when we're looking at these 3 cards, it may just be simply because they don't want to let you go, but that's not elevated love. That's not unconditional love. That's fear-based, and we really want to move beyond that, okay? So let's move on to the second month. And we have the 2 of Pentacles coming into the past here. So just if you're keeping track here, we're in December 2025, and now we're going to take a look at the past energy or past influences. There's a choice that needs to be made. The 2 of Pentacles, whether it's upright or reverse, can show that you're being stretched a little bit thin. You can, for a short amount of time, do more than you should. But pushed too far in that sort of energy, something's going to break or bend, and you don't want it to be your health, mental or physical, and you also don't want it to be your budget. So this is a time to choose and also to say no when necessary. Create a budget, create boundaries, and really make a choice. When you make the choice, rather than being stretched, you have like an ace that you can focus on. So work-life balance, balancing of the budget, balancing of your health and energy, and choosing one thing over another. It's never easy, but that's the one thing that's waiting for you. And this could also be, again, connected to that devil card, because someone wants you to be everywhere at once. Everything to everyone. Maybe it's you that wants that, but it's not realistic. Somewhere along the lines, you'll have to choose what's right for you. And it's a favorable thing when you do that, because then we see a happy card here, and it's in the upright position. So the present energy for December is quite good. 3 of Cups, celebration, jubilation, new love, new opportunities, and fun. This is a great month for you to say yes to invitations, and it's beautifully timed because there's a lot of holidays. There's, of course, New Year's in this month. There's so many different things that you might be deciding to go to a gathering for, and please do. You might meet somebody new, not just in love, but in friendship, or maybe there's a job opportunity that opens up. Never second guess what going to one of those events might open up to you. When it comes to commitment, however, at least towards the middle of the month, it may be difficult to get someone to say yes or no, because they're still trying to figure out what they want. Enjoy the courtship. Enjoy the process of getting to know someone or something before signing on the dotted line. And that's the main takeaway here. I do see a very busy social schedule, and it's towards the middle of the month, even before the holidays kick in. So just keep your balance. Say yes to what feels right. Say no to what doesn't. Be honest with yourself and with others. Now we have a card connected to second chances, to travel, and for many of you, to being able to resolve something. So the 8 of Cups, think of it, if you will, as a revolving door. So if you haven't dealt with something, it's coming back around and you get a chance to deal with it. If you've missed an opportunity to say something to someone, you can do it. If you want to walk away from something and leave an open door, this is a great time to create that as well. So a sabbatical, for instance, or if you quit a job, perhaps they'll say, if you change your mind in X amount of time, feel free to come back. I just see an open door here if you want it to be open. If there's anything that you need to completely sever or disconnect with, be very clear, because this can be a slightly sticky card and it makes it a little bit difficult to make that kind of a clean break. That's the only caveat with that. If you haven't traveled in a minute or two, this card is encouraging you to do that. The distance is what gives you clarity. So typically we see a person walking away in this, and there's always room for them to return. Even here, there's usually room for more cups. So when you get a chance to move away from something mentally or actually, like physically, when you come back, it's with a clear set of eyes, like you see it more clearly. So if you can take a few days or a few weeks and then make a major decision, 8 of Cups is telling you that's the kind of decision that you'll feel very comfortable with in the long run, because you got distance, you gained perspective, and you know incontrovertibly that this is the right step to take. All right, let's take a look at the takeaway. Too many takes. The monthly takeaway for December is the Hanged Man, but it is reversed. So with this card in reverse, don't rush. That's why these are beautifully married. This is saying take a vacation, a break, or a sabbatical, and then decide what you want to do. Don't rush. When the card is upright, it represents gaining knowledge and seeing something from a new perspective. And when it's reversed, it's wanting to rush through without taking that last glance. So whether you're perfecting something before sending it out to the world, whether you're seeing all the different options in front of you and deciding which one feels right, the courtship could be courting different options, not just different partners. So different jobs, different places that you might live or work, different things that you might be focusing on in your life. You're juggling them a little bit with the Three of Cups and deciding which one really opens up the heart space. Once you know that, you can proceed, but until you do, don't rush. Now let's take a look at Destiny, and the Destiny card here is Queen of Swords in reverse. This is about being very clear and very concise. In the upright position, you can tell she knows who she is. She's not going to mince words even when upright. But when reversed, she is absolutely unafraid to say no, or to say I'm not finished, or to say this is where the line in the sand is, don't cross it. I love how direct she can be. But it is reversed, and it does carry with it a couple of cautionary notes. So let's talk about it. Sometimes she gets a bad reputation, and it's because she isn't taking the temperature of the room. So one thing that she can do is simply say, is it a good time to talk? Before even saying that, she should check in with the audience, with whether it's one or many. How are you doing today? What's going on? How are you making progress on this? Get the sort of like feel it out and see if they're ready. Then step in. And then after communicating, say, did that make sense? Do you have questions? Do you have concerns? And then wait and listen. Listen more than you speak when this card is reversed. And finally, if there's something that needs to be done, you follow through. Walk the walk and talk the talk. Because if you only talk the talk without embodying it, people see through that and they don't resonate with it as much. Okay? But overall, I quite like this trajectory. There are a couple of blocks. Someone who won't let go. Something that you see but don't want to see but still need to understand. So when someone reveals their true colors, you've got to embrace that and perhaps move in a different direction if you need to. What I love about this overall spread before we even expand it is the following. You will finish what you set out to do, ostensibly in November. There are new options, new doors that are opening up to you, but you shouldn't go through the first one that comes your way. Give yourself a chance to taste everything at the buffet. We do have a wish fulfillment card coming through here with the Nine of Cups, but we also have a lot of emotions. So finding your sort of like grounding is so important. Don't make a decision when you're stressed, when you're tired, or when you're pressured. And it could be in either of these 2 months. Just make sure that you feel good about what the next step is going to be. All right, let's expand this. We're going to take a look at health, wealth, and love. Health, wealth, love. For the energy of health, we have the Four of Pentacles. I often like to refer to this card as the devil you know, and you can see her holding on to that pentacle right around her heart space. We hold on to people, places, experiences, sometimes even objects, long after they've served their higher purpose, long after they're healthy for us, because sometimes it makes us feel safe. Sometimes there's fear, like if this isn't in my life, what will be? And sometimes we just don't know what to do. We don't know how to let it go. So the message here is find the support, find the sort of connection in your life that will help you release that. It could also just be holding on to stress. And when that happens, a lot of times it can come through around the heart chakra. So you're going to be feeling it here. You're going to be feeling it here. You might have some difficulty in breathing. So things that you can do could be as simple as kind of like pulling your shoulders back a little bit, opening up the heart space, working with different types of breathing meditation, yoga, or exercises that help open the heart. And gentle is better here. Obviously, if you've been holding on, you don't want to just immediately push it all out. So gently work on expanding the shoulders, opening the heart, breathing, and slow and steady is the way for success here. This can also be, for some of you, this feeling of, I just get like tightness or anxiety. So obviously working with the appropriate healthcare professional on this and not holding it in too much. Shallow breathing is also what I'm picking up on. So have you ever noticed, like, when you're stressed out, you take those deep breaths? Do it even when you're not stressed out. Do it at the beginning of the day. Do it when you're making a decision. Pull more oxygen into your bloodstream and into your body. It's going to help you think better. It's going to help you release some of this stuff. And then just remember to like disengage the jaw, to release the shoulders. And sometimes we just need those little reminders that we're holding on more than we need to. Okay? Looking at all the cards and seeing what might be coming through in this period of time, let's see what the patterns are here. So I mentioned with the Ten of Wands that it can represent stress and strain, emotional stress and strain, and also a little bit in the back. For those of you actually that do any sort of lifting for your job, whether you're like a delivery person or you work in a restaurant, you're constantly moving things around, whatever it is, or you're just in the middle of a move, don't take on more than you need to. I've done it before. You can definitely hurt yourself, straining your back, breaking your foot. All kinds of things can happen. We don't want that to happen, okay? So definitely be kind to yourself and ask for help here if you need to. This can be addictions in your life. We actually have Nine of Cups, Three of Cups. So for those of you that tend to go overboard with caffeine, with alcohol, with nicotine, with work, with exercise, whatever your vice is, this is a time to really find support. So by the way, this can be a coach that can help you deal with this. And sometimes you need a bossy coach to kind of help you shake a habit or a bad sort of approach to something. Quality and quantity of sleep is really important to make sure that you're getting both with the Four of Swords. This is more in November, but both months could benefit from that. Looking specifically at the month of December, I think that your schedule and and just sort of how far you're stretching yourself really needs to be paid attention to. And yes, I want you to have some fun, but make sure that you're getting the sleep, that you're not overspending, and that you feel like the other thing here is that there's like no clicks that you fit in. You shouldn't have to sort of force a connection here at all either. Take a vacation or a rest if you haven't. The same message comes through in both months. And then the Hanged Man also has to do with your ankle in particular. Some of you might have had a twisted ankle. Also just making sure that you're stretching your legs and taking care of your feet. Just slow and steady. Don't rush in or out of anything major this month. All right, let's move on to wealth, which is resources, life purpose, and career. Good stuff coming through in wealth, Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is a card of perseverance. So typically we would see someone with a bandage on their forehead. I'm going to pull that traditional one while we talk. And it's saying, you know what? I am not going to give up. I might have gotten some rejection. I might have some pushback, but I know who I am. I know what I want, and I'm going to finish this. So I love the tenacity that's a part of this. While you're going through the Nine of Wands, notice that that person has a bandage on their forehead. Be kind to yourself. You may actually be, you could be experiencing things like a migraine, TMJ. It's basically showing that the head and the crown is where some of that stress is being held. Even a thought ricocheting around and repeating itself, take a step back, breathe, and know that you're going to be okay. This card incontrovertibly shows that when it comes to your wealth, you will accomplish your goal through tenacity, through perseverance, and basically the hard work that you've already put into it. Don't give up, okay? I like this quite a bit. Let's break this down, and we're going to take a look at 5 subcategories, starting off with those of you that presently are employed. This is where the November-December breakdown will help. As we look at November, it's the trickier of the 2 months because it has the Devil card in it. And as we're taking a look at the good and the bad, I think the bad is that there's so much going on that you just may not have ample time to rest. Push back on that. Make sure that you're not getting sick or, again, doing something to the point of exhaustion or fatigue. What I like is you will finish your goals. You can accomplish what you set out to accomplish. It's a great month to leverage existing skills and training, or to get that training if you want it. There is an arbitrary gatekeeper for some of you, and sometimes they have an outdated way of thinking or doing things. And the challenge this month is how to push back, how to help them see the bigger picture. One thing that you could do is have someone else come in and, kind of like articulate the same thing, power in numbers here. As we look at December, much easier energy overall. There may not be enough money or enough time, but you do have a great way of pulling in more resources or support. Your charisma can take it to the finish line, but don't be afraid to slow down. Only do what's feasible, and sometimes we just have to speak up and say, I know you want all of this. This is actually what's possible. If you want this, here's how we can do it. Can you help? So you've stated that you understand what they want. You've laid out what's realistic, and you've given them a way to accomplish it. If they don't want to do it, say, okay, I'm just letting you know this is what I can do. You can want more, but I can only deliver this much. Okay? So boundaries are necessary, challenging, I get it, but really important. Travel may be necessary to take something to the next level. Lean into it if you can. And ultimately, I think you're going to have a good month here. Don't be afraid to speak up. You have something that's worth saying. So don't sit on that. Definitely articulate it. And overall, we're landing in a good space here. And December's easier than November. There's something to avoid. Don't get trapped into a corner. Don't get into a contract that you don't agree with, etc. Okay? For entrepreneurs, same general energy of the challenges in November being not over-promising. Be realistic. If you can't do it, don't say that you can do it. There could also be someone either that's working with or for you that is at an impasse. Because we have two very stubborn people here, and you might have to play the middle. At some point in this situation, especially if you're an entrepreneur, just choose a different vendor if you can, or maybe take back some of this work because it feels like these two people can't communicate. And so you might have to insert yourself and just say, come on, here's the goals, here's the vision. You're either on board or you're not. A clear line in the sand is important. Also, you might be sensing that in the next month that there's a limitation. Better to speak up now so that there's better receipt of that. I think the challenge over this 60-day period is money and time. If you can get some volunteers, if you can leverage some of the goodwill, do that. But otherwise, I think cutting something out of the big picture is going to be important. Better to do one thing well than several things lackluster. It's kind of like when you look at a creative piece and it's like, why didn't they edit that down a little bit? There's too many things here. Less is more. That's the main takeaway for entrepreneurs. Speak up and be more visible. Some people want to see you as a face or as a voice of the company that you might be heading here. And something is more done than you might think. So if you need to launch something, it's either the very beginning of November or the end of December. The middle period is a little bit more murky here. So if you need to, you get a second chance towards the end of December. Okay, and by the way, it's okay to delay something. Even if you don't think that it is, better to delay it and do it right. That's the one big takeaway for entrepreneurs. Moving onward to job seekers, we really have to focus on this energy here. So the 10 of Wands can represent moving or traveling. And for some of you, you may not want to do it, so don't do it. There could also be something connected to this where it's too much work, and we see the stress and strain here, so this could be a burnout. So the initial offer that comes through, it feels like it may not be the best match for you. Also, there may be something where you're just not hearing back from someone. Take that as a blessing. No communication is typically a no. You can follow up, but generally, if you've had one thing where you're not hearing back or another one and you don't feel good about it, it's okay to pass on both and move forward. This is educational. So by the way, the Hierophant can be not just religious, but it can be like government, it can be medicine, anything that has like a hierarchy. But when you combine 3 of Pentacles and Hierophant, this can be higher education or a Department of Education or college, university. And that actually looks pretty good. So if you want to go into academia, yes. If there's something in a general job application that doesn't feel right, no. If you want to go back to school, yes, all of those are the big takeaways. I'm not seeing a lot of things coming through other than that. I would say one way that you can work and get your sort of like your feelers out there a little bit more would be through classmates, coworkers, and former connections in any professional sphere. It'll be a little bit trickier in November, but things start to come through in December. You may have a difficult decision. The Two of Pentacles can be like it's so close it's hard to decide. I would go for the one where you feel more joy, creativity, or fun. And it may just be like you like the office more, you like the boss more, or you like the environment. Work environment matters. Maybe it's one where you can telework. The kind of work that comes through could be a little bit spotty in December in this way. Eight of Cups is typically contract work or freelance. And it may be like not as much as you want or need, but if it comes through, I'm not getting a lot of red flags. It feels like it's okay, just not as much as you want. You might also feel like you're juggling multiple things, 2 or 3 jobs, and do your best to not overextend, obviously. Queen of Swords in reverse is also about speaking up. So you could be looking or asking someone directly, hey, are you hiring here? Do you know someone? Don't be afraid to interrogate your friends and coworkers and other people and say, hey, I'm looking for this. If you have any advice, let me know. That is a great way to find a job. Last thing, get someone to look at contracts. It doesn't matter which month this sits in. Make sure that you understand what you're signing. Students, let's move on to you. Well, you came through perfectly represented with the Three of Pentacles and the Hierophant. I think that you might have too much that you're carrying on your plate, either academically or extracurricularly, or both. And so this is a time to lighten up that load. It'll be well worth it. And maybe you just haven't been getting the rest that you deserve and need. And that's why the Strength card came through. December looks better. There might be a trip or a chance to get out of your comfort zone and try something new. Ultimately, it looks like you're going to complete that which you seek to complete. Don't give up. Hang in there. The Hanged Man in reverse is saying don't quit, don't give up. Something comes through in November and it makes you question everything. Breathe. Don't give in to the Nine of Cups or the Three of Cups, which can be extremes. Breathe, sit with it for a second, get some rest, take a break or a vacation, come back later and see how you feel. I feel like you're going to be so happy that you didn't quit. And it could just simply be in like not giving up on this degree or on this class or whatever. I think you're going to be all right, but I see the intensity of the emotions here. Retirees. Some of you are frustrated at the limitations in front of you. It could be because you don't have enough money or enough energy to do what you want to do. Take a break. The Four of Swords is actually saying before doing anything really stressful or difficult, like November is more about just being kind to your body and resting, particularly if you just came through a surgery or a major life event like retirement. There's this feeling of like, I don't have control, but you're going to start to regain it. And then you're going to start to have fun with the fact that people aren't constraining you so much. If you feel like everyone is dialing you up and sending you messages and everything, pick and choose, pick and choose. Discernment is your best friend. It may take a couple of months to plan up the trip that you want for those of you that want to travel. And the longer you can plan, the more you're going to save. So I would take your time. Don't do anything impulsive over this 2-month period. And that's everything. All right, let's move on to the next category, which is love and relationships. One of the absolute best cards to come through did come through. We have Four of Wands, and oftentimes the Four of Wands is a empty stage. You've set the stage for love, friendship, and something that can last the test of time. There is this general feeling like, why haven't they showed up? So for those of you that are looking for love, it can be that. If you're in a relationship, it may just be a moment to reconnect. So before I dissect all of them, let's get into those 3 subcategories. As always, let's begin with those of you already in a partnership. You can't get much better than the Four of Wands. It represents fidelity, the ability for a relationship to go the distance. There could be a sense of longing, like you want to just spend a little bit more time with the one that you love. So express that need if you're feeling exactly that. One thing that I do see here could be a lack of communication. Swords are about communication, and the Four of Swords is someone that sometimes is just not communicative. They might be giving you silent treatment or just not pulling their part in the relationship. It's an inactive card. So if you feel like you're doing this, or vice versa, if they're the one that's pulling the weight, it's about equilibrium, and that's why this came through. So I'm reading for 2 months, but these can hit at any point. So really make sure that there's enough reciprocity in this period of time so that the two of you feel seen, heard, and appreciated. I think that's going to be so, so important. You've been through a lot. I mentioned the School of Hard Knocks. Some of you have really been through a lot together, and I think it's important in this period to celebrate that and to see how much you've worked to create this foundation. There is something that puts you to the test. It is more in November since that's this portion of the spread. So it could either be on the highest level, something that's out of your control, like someone loses their job, someone gets sick, someone in the family does something and it creates havoc. The world around you changes. This is when, more than ever, you would lean into this. You would be BFFs and you would have each other's back. Honesty is everything. Honesty can single-handedly take down the devil. Honesty, transparency, support, integrity. That's what you want to do to eviscerate the devil. And if you come forth with love and integrity and the partner still doesn't support you, then that just shows, like I said, it reveals maybe where the cracks were in the foundation. But the fact that we got this tells me you probably can sort this out. It's just about getting ahead of it and not letting something fester, okay? It's really important to give each other space. The Strength card and the Hierophant both want to be right, both have a very firm way of doing things. Meeting in the middle, that's where the devil's blocking this. So the fine art of compromise. Ultimately, I think taking your time, gently moving towards these sort of elements of change will help you out. Creating time and space for fun. The Three of Cups is just having fun together. Maybe planning a trip together and asking how the other partner's doing too. If they're not talking, just say, is everything okay? What's going on? How can I help? Not in an accusatory way, but more in a sort of helpful way. Like, I'd love to be there for you. How can I be there for you? You're not even giving them the option of not being present. Just how can we work through this? If they say, I don't want to, that's when you have like a blinking, red light and you want to address that. But overall, having just this doesn't worry me that much. We don't have like a 10 of Swords. We don't have a Tower. We just have one thing that puts the relationship to the test. And based on the Four of Wands, the Three of Pentacles, and also having a communication card, Queen of Swords, it's just about honestly speaking with one another. This can just be something out of your control. That's when love comes through, okay? Also, there could just be one of you that is ready to move up or move on, and this could be pressuring for commitment. So just because I'm reading partner doesn't mean married. So you might be ready to move to the next level and they're not, and that's a bigger conversation. So if they say they don't want it and that's always been true, remember what I said. When someone reveals their true self, there's some things that you can't change. So ask yourself if that's okay for you. Because I do see love and commitment here, but for some of you, there may be something that they can't give you, whether it's getting married, starting a family, moving, leaving their job behind. There's a big ask here, and both of you may not be on the same page. So you don't have to make an immediate decision, but you have to start thinking about what you want in the long run, okay? So that's kind of big. That's a big piece to that. But fulfillment, wish fulfillment, and communication, I feel like you can find your way to the middle, perhaps, okay? Single and looking. Capricorn could be coming into your life. Sometimes the devil is misunderstood in readings. It can just be a Capricorn. If it is a Capricorn, it's someone that is possibly from out of state or is passing through your life. One thing that is interesting here with the Capricorn energy is, I don't know if it's reciprocated or mutual. So if you're looking for love and you get the crickets here, the ghosting or no one's answering back on texts, let it go, okay? Honestly, November's reading more for everyone as a month of personal development. So if you don't have to focus on the relationship, it's better. you'll get more options coming through here in December in the form of the Three of Cups, multiple options. We have an air sign coming through. By the way, this is very good for Aquarius. It could just be someone who's mirroring you, but there could also be a Libra or a Gemini that's coming forth. Do you have the time? Do you have the energy? That's the sort of thing that the universe is asking. And are you either too tired or too busy? These are the things that could be making meeting someone a little bit harder. But I do see people coming through in December, so have some fun. Take it one step at a time. It could be a fellow air sign. If you're single and happy, kind of ideal right now, to be honest. So what you can really leverage in the month of November is completion. Whatever you want to set your mind to doing, you can really do that. The challenge for you is self-care. I really think it is working too hard or sleeping too little or a combination thereof, which then can create a breakdown in general health, mental, physical, spiritual. Take care of yourself, slow it down a little bit. What you can really focus on in December is networking, taking a breather, taking a break, and writing some stuff down. For those of you that are producing something, even though we're out of work right now, this is all about making sure that it gets on the written page, all right? That you put the writing on the page, rather. Record it, perfect it later, okay? Now let's take a look at one final question. This can be anything that you need a little bit of advice or guidance on. So go ahead and formulate that question. I'm going to turn the camera down and we're going to see what the universe has to say. Okay, for a yes or no, for your final question, it's a not now. It's really more of a no. The Nine of Swords shows that you're either too stressed to make the decision or the outcome, whatever you're looking at, could result in stress. It's not worth the headache. It's encouraging you to take a step back and see what else is out there. You might be missing something that's like right in front of you or a path that is less treacherous or less stressful. General notes about this. Stress management is key. What are you doing to decompress? Is it exercise? Is it art? Is it therapy? Is it a combination? How is your quality of sleep right now? We've gotten the two cards associated with getting rest. Some of you may have, maybe you're taking too much caffeine, or you're working too late, or there's sleep apnea. If there's something going wrong with that, talk to your doctor. You can go to a sleep clinic. You can talk about different ways to meditate and to release stress. But generally speaking, it's time to explore new options. Whatever it is that you're looking at, it's either the source of the stress or it could be stressful. You need to take a step back and see what else is available. Before we close, I want to do one more card. I mentioned at the beginning, don't hit the snooze button. I want to specifically see what that's about for you. What is it that you need to pay attention to this month? King of Cups. Okay. So for some of you, it is just emotional happiness and well-being. There could also be a creative project or endeavor that you've been entertaining, and now is the time to initiate on that, plan on that project, and having some more fun, all of the above. But follow your heart. We can also connect this a little bit to the devil. No regrets. We don't have time right now to think, I wish I would have followed my heart. Whatever it feels most like that would bring the most joy or happiness, now is the time for you to connect and engage with that, okay? That, my friends, brings us to the close of this November and December reading, again, giving you everything that you need to navigate until the end of the month. A simple way to show love and support is by hitting the thumbs up and, more importantly, subscribing. I'd love to get to the next milestone by the new year. Let's see if we can do it together. So if you're a brand new viewer, share this, subscribe, leave a comment below. This type of engagement helps other people find it on YouTube. That's basically how it works. You can also follow me on other social media platforms. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the platforms. On Blue Sky, it's nicholasashbaugh.com, which, by the way, is my official website. And on that, you can find out more news and info about me, including all of the official links that I just talked about. If you'd like to give a little bit extra, you can do so by becoming a member or by putting a sticker with your comment, and all of that is available right beneath the video. I know that some of you may prefer using PayPal, so this is my PayPal link. It'll also be in the description of the video below. Thank you so much, everyone, for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. You have a lot of choices. I appreciate that you allowed me to help you navigate through everything. Remember to check out my main page because I do daily forecast single card pulls. I do a weekly collective that is live every Sunday at around 9:15 or 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. And I also do special one-off readings like lunar events and those aforementioned community readings where you can ask questions. So those are usually impromptu and only people that subscribe are going to see that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right, take care and I'll see you soon.